Hey folks, welcome back. There is a famous African proverb, "A lion doesn't turn around when a small dog barks." Have you ever wondered what it takes to command such unshakable power that people who once overlooked you find themselves yearning for your attention? What if I had told you that the most effective way to make someone crawl back is not through noise or confrontation, but through silence and calculated restraint? In a world where everyone is shouting to be noticed, true power lies in the quiet mastery of yourself, what I call silent domination. We've all experienced it, that maddening moment when someone drifts away, leaving you questioning your worth. It's easy to fall into the trap of chasing, over-explaining, or desperately trying to remind them of the connection you shared. But here's the thing. Every time you do, you unknowingly hand over the keys to your power. Instead of inspiring their return, you push them further away. So, what's the solution? The answer lies in a principle that blends dark psychology with the timeless wisdom of Stoicism: mastery through absence, not presence. When you step back, something extraordinary happens. You stop being a constant, predictable force, and instead, you become a puzzle they can't solve. Like the ocean's tide, your withdrawal leaves behind a powerful absence that commands attention. It's not manipulation, it's strategy. It's not pettiness, it's self-respect. And it's exactly what makes them regret letting you slip away. Picture this. You're standing in the heart of a forest. The wind is still, the air heavy with anticipation. Then, in the silence, the faint rustle of a predator sends chills down your spine. That's the essence of silent domination, an energy so potent it doesn't need to announce itself. It's the quiet strength that makes people stop and re-evaluate their choices. Psychology backs this up. People are wired to value what is scarce, mysterious, and just out of reach. When you pull back, you trigger an innate human response: the fear of loss. This fear isn't just emotional, it's biological. It's the same mechanism that makes luxury brands desirable or limited editions irresistible. The less accessible you are, the more valuable you become. Why chasing kills attraction? Let's get one thing clear. You can't catch a butterfly by running after it. The more you chase, the faster it flutters away. In relationships, chasing communicates one fatal message: I need you more than you need me. It creates an imbalance where they hold all the power, and you're left scrambling to prove your worth. Stoicism teaches us a powerful truth: control what you can, accept what you can't. You can't force someone to see your value, but you can amplify it by stepping into your own power. Instead of trying to close the distance, allow it to exist. Instead of chasing, focus on becoming someone they regret losing. Silence in this context isn't just the absence of sound. It's the presence of mastery. Think of yourself as a fire. When you burn brightly, people gather around for warmth, drawn to your energy. But what happens when you burn too close, too hot? They pull away, afraid of being consumed. Now imagine dimming that flame, not extinguishing it, but letting it flicker just out of reach. Suddenly, they feel the cold. Suddenly, they crave the warmth they once took for granted. This is the essence of silent domination. By pulling back, you're not denying them your presence, you're inviting them to seek it. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." This doesn't mean ignoring their actions, but mastering your reactions. When someone pulls away or loses interest, the instinctual response is to panic, overanalyze, or double down on your efforts. But true strength lies in resisting these impulses and choosing calm detachment instead. Detachment isn't indifference, it's control. It's recognizing that your value isn't defined by someone else's attention. When you stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically, you shift the dynamic entirely. They no longer see you as someone waiting for their crumbs of validation. Instead, you become the person whose absence stings like an unspoken truth. In the game of power and attraction, silence isn't empty, it's charged. It creates a vacuum, and nature abhors a vacuum. When you stop reaching out, they start reaching in. They begin to question, why haven't I heard from them? They replay conversations, analyze your last interaction, and wonder if they've made a mistake. This mental loop becomes their obsession, and your absence becomes the loudest presence in their life. Think of silence as a canvas. When it's blank, it forces them to project their thoughts, feelings, and insecurities onto it. And here's the genius of it. The less you do, the more they think about you. It's not manipulation. It's simply allowing them to confront the void you've left behind. To wield this power effectively, you must first master yourself. Silence without self-control is hollow. Emotional detachment doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means not letting them control you. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." And bravery in this context means being willing to let go of what isn't serving you. When you cultivate emotional independence, you send a clear message: I am complete on my own. This unshakable confidence is magnetic. It's what makes people question their decisions and realize the depth of what they've lost. Silent domination isn't about playing games. It's about playing the long game. It's about understanding that the most powerful move is sometimes the one you don't make. By stepping back, you're not just creating space, you're creating scarcity, and scarcity breeds value. So, if you've ever wondered how to make them crawl back, the answer isn't louder gestures or desperate pleas. It's stepping into your power, embracing stoic silence, and letting them feel the weight of your absence. When done correctly, they'll come back, not because you demanded it, but because they realized they can't live without it. Affirmations are like sparks that ignite your inner strength. When you speak them, you awaken the unstoppable force within you. Claim your power today. I radiate silent confidence. Write this affirmation in the comments to declare your strength and step into your power. Let your transformation begin now. If this inspired you, give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Your support fuels our mission to bring you game-changing content. Together, we're building something extraordinary. Number 1. Strategic withdrawal, the art of controlled absence. Imagine a chessboard. The game is in full swing, and your opponent is advancing aggressively, expecting you to counter every move with equal fervor. But instead, you pause, retreat, and reposition. Suddenly they're off balance, their confidence wavering. They're forced to question what you're planning, and in that moment of uncertainty, you gain the upper hand. That's the essence of strategic withdrawal. Not a sign of surrender, but an artful repositioning of your presence to create intrigue, demand, and control. In relationships and life, people often underestimate the power of absence. When someone pulls away or takes you for granted, the instinctive reaction is to fight for their attention, to text more, call more, or make grand gestures. But paradoxically, these actions only deepen their indifference. True power lies not in chasing, but in retreating with purpose. When you step back intentionally, you create a vacuum, a quiet space that forces them to feel your absence and question their choices. The beauty of strategic withdrawal is its simplicity and its devastating effectiveness. It's not about ghosting or playing games, but about asserting your value by choosing when and how you engage. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, "He who is free is not he who possesses, but he who needs nothing." When you withdraw, you communicate that you are complete and unshaken, regardless of their actions. This composure, this calm in the storm, is what draws them back to you. Think of yourself as a lighthouse. When a ship sails too far from the shore, it loses sight of your guiding light. In that darkness, they must confront the reality of what your presence provided: security, warmth, and direction. The further they drift, the more they begin to miss the glow of your light. But here's the catch. The lighthouse doesn't chase the ship. It remains steadfast, illuminating its path, waiting for the ship to realize its mistake and turn back. This is the power of controlled absence. It's a quiet but unyielding reminder of your value. Strategic withdrawal also aligns with human psychology. People are drawn to what they can't fully grasp or possess. When you're always available, your value diminishes in their eyes because you're no longer a challenge. But when you step back, when you become less accessible, you ignite their curiosity and trigger the fear of loss. This scarcity effect makes them yearn for what they no longer have easy access to. Absence isn't just silence. It's a loud reminder of your worth. Imagine an artist painting a masterpiece. The most breathtaking pieces often use negative space, the untouched areas of the canvas, to emphasize the beauty of what's present. Strategic withdrawal works the same way. Your silence, your absence, isn't a void. It's the negative space that highlights your importance. It compels them to fill in the gaps, to wonder what you're doing, and to question their role in your life. But let's be clear, strategic withdrawal isn't about being petty or playing hard to get. It's about respecting yourself enough to walk away when someone isn't valuing you. It's about saying, "I am worth more than this," without uttering a single word. Silence isn't weakness. It's a declaration of strength. It's a bold statement that you don't need anyone else to define your worth. This self-assuredness is magnetic. It's what makes them realize they've underestimated you. When you master this art, you'll notice a shift, not just in how they perceive you, but in how you perceive yourself. You'll begin to understand that your worth doesn't depend on anyone else's validation. And as you grow stronger, they'll feel the gravitational pull of your transformation. They'll start to wonder, what changed? Why aren't you reacting as you used to? And that's when they'll start crawling back, drawn by the very absence they once took for granted. Remember, strategic withdrawal isn't about winning them back. It's about regaining your power. It's about stepping into your strength and allowing them to feel the full weight of your silence. When done right, it's not just effective, it's transformative. So if you're ready to embrace the power of controlled absence, take this affirmation to heart. My silence speaks louder than words. Write this in the comments below as your commitment to mastering silent domination. Let it be a reminder that you're not chasing anymore. You're creating space for them to recognize your worth. If this resonated with you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're dedicated to bringing you life-changing lessons that empower you to take control of your relationships and your life. Remember, your silence is your strength. Use it wisely. Number 2. Harnessing the law of contrast. Why do stars shine brightest against the darkest skies? This question holds a powerful truth. Contrast is what gives meaning and depth to everything we experience. Without it, life would feel flat and uninspiring. When it comes to relationships and influence, the law of contrast works the same way. To make someone realize your value, you must first show them what life feels like without you. Silence isn't just an absence, it's a deliberate move that magnifies your presence. When you pull back after giving, you don't just create space, you create impact. Imagine you're sipping your favorite drink. The first sip, heavenly. The second, still enjoyable. But after a while, the taste dulls. Now imagine stopping midway, saving the rest for later. That pause heightens anticipation and makes the next sip far more satisfying. Relationships and interactions thrive on the same principle. If you're always present, always giving and always accessible, your value becomes predictable, expected. But when you deliberately withdraw, you create a contrast that forces the other person to feel the emptiness of your absence. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. What this means in practice is that by stepping back, you don't just let someone miss you, you let them fill the void with thoughts of you. When they no longer feel your presence, they start questioning what they've lost, replaying memories, and analyzing moments they may have overlooked. You're not just pulling away physically, you're embedding yourself into their consciousness. Your silence becomes louder than your words ever could. Picture a sunset. It wouldn't captivate us if the entire sky were constantly bathed in twilight hues. What makes it breathtaking is the transition, the stark contrast from light to dark. This is the essence of the law of contrast. By intentionally pulling back, you create that transition, forcing them to recognize the brightness you brought into their life. It's not manipulation, it's mastery. You're not punishing them with your absence, you're teaching them the invaluable lesson of appreciation. To apply this principle, you need emotional control. It's tempting to reach out, to seek validation, or to bridge the gap yourself. But doing so robs them of the chance to feel the discomfort of your absence. Discomfort is not your enemy here, it's your greatest ally. It's in the quiet, uncomfortable moments that they'll realize what they've taken for granted. Your silence becomes the canvas upon which they project their regrets, their longing, and their desire to reconnect. Imagine this. You're a melody that once played constantly in their life. Over time, they stopped hearing it, but when the music stops altogether, they feel the silence like a jolt. The lack of sound amplifies the memory of your song. That's what the law of contrast does. It transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary by stripping it away, leaving them craving the tune they can no longer hear. To truly master this, you must remember, pulling back isn't about anger or revenge. It's about creating space for them to recognize your worth. When you combine your silence with growth, becoming a stronger, more magnetic version of yourself, you double the impact. They don't just miss who you were, they begin to yearn for the new, evolved version of you. Contrast isn't just about creating absence, it's about amplifying your value in their eyes by stepping into your own power. Let me leave you with this. The law of contrast is not a trick or a game. It's a lesson in how human psychology works. People only see the stars when the sky turns dark. When you understand this, you gain the ability to shift dynamics, not through force, but through deliberate restraint. By stepping back, you create room for them to step forward. So, the next time you feel the urge to chase, remember, the silence you create now will speak volumes later. Allow them to feel the space, the void, the contrast. In their moments of doubt, they'll see your worth more clearly than ever. And when they do come back, they'll come crawling, not because you begged, but because they realized they can't live without what you brought into their life. Write this in the comments. I am the light they only see after the darkness. Say it. own it, and let it remind you of your power. If this resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're committed to creating life-changing lessons to help you master your emotions, relationships, and your destiny. Stay tuned for more transformative content. Number 3. Master the subtle art of mystery. The less they know about you, the more they'll obsess about what they've lost. Have you ever noticed how the characters that captivate us most in movies or books are often shrouded in mystery? It's not what they say outright, but what they leave unsaid that keeps us hooked. This principle applies not just to fiction, but to real-life dynamics as well. If you're looking to master the silent domination that makes them crawl back, you must embrace the subtle art of mystery. It's not about being deceitful, it's about being deliberate in what you reveal and what you hold back, creating an irresistible pull that leaves them yearning for more. Imagine you're walking through an art gallery, and in the corner there's a painting covered by a velvet cloth with a sign that reads, "Do not touch." You've seen dozens of beautiful paintings that are freely displayed, but your mind keeps returning to that one hidden piece. What could it be? Why is it covered? This is the power of mystery, our innate desire to uncover what is concealed. When you make your life that covered painting, you instantly become more intriguing and desirable. As humans, we're wired to solve puzzles, to seek out what feels just out of reach. When you're too open, too available, or too predictable, you remove the allure of curiosity. Mystery isn't about being evasive or dishonest. It's about creating a sense of depth that invites exploration. People are most attracted to what they can't fully grasp, and your ability to cultivate this enigmatic quality is key to making them realize your worth. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Silence is a form of great strength." When applied to relationships, this doesn't mean you should cut off communication completely, but that you should control the narrative of your presence. Reveal less about your plans, your thoughts, and your emotions. Let them fill in the blanks. For example, instead of sharing every detail of your day or every decision you make, keep your conversations balanced between openness and restraint. Let them wonder what you're thinking. This subtle withholding of information stirs curiosity and keeps them mentally engaged with you. Think of your life as a captivating novel, each chapter unfolding with purpose and intention. If you reveal the entire plot on the first page, there's no reason for anyone to keep reading. By contrast, when you hint at something intriguing, a new project you're working on, an exciting event you attended, or a challenge you've overcome, you leave them wanting more. Mystery doesn't mean shutting them out. It means giving them just enough to spark their interest while maintaining an air of independence and unpredictability. One of the most effective ways to cultivate mystery is to step away from the compulsion to overshare. In today's world of constant social media updates and instant communication, withholding information is a rarity that commands attention. Post selectively, sharing glimpses of your life without providing the full picture. For instance, a photo of a serene landscape or an intriguing caption without explanation can leave them wondering where you are and what you're doing. It shifts the focus back onto you without you saying a word. Mystery also works on a deeper emotional level. People are drawn to those who are comfortable in their own skin and don't feel the need to seek constant validation. When you resist the urge to explain yourself, justify your actions, or clarify your intentions, you project quiet confidence. This emotional independence is incredibly attractive because it signals that your worth isn't tied to anyone's approval. It's the kind of energy that makes people want to unravel your layers, not because you've asked them to, but because they can't resist. Imagine yourself as the moon. People are captivated by its beauty, but what truly fascinates them is the side they can't see. The unseen, the unknown, is what keeps them coming back night after night, searching for glimpses of the full picture. By mastering the art of mystery, you become the moon in their world, present, magnetic, and just out of reach. The beauty of mystery is that it allows you to reclaim your power without confrontation or manipulation. It's not about tricking them into wanting you. It's about becoming someone who naturally draws attention and admiration because you're focused on your own growth and fulfillment. When they realize they don't know everything about you, when they start to feel the distance between what they assumed and what they now perceive, they will be drawn back to you, not out of obligation, but out of intrigue. So, as you master this subtle art, remember this affirmation: I am the mystery they can't solve. Write it in the comments below as a declaration of your new mindset. Let them chase the depth and intrigue you bring, not because you're playing games, but because you've become the kind of person they can't help but admire. If you found this lesson empowering, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're working hard to create life-changing insights that help you unlock your true potential and reclaim your power. Together, we'll continue building the foundation for the confident, unstoppable version of yourself. Let's make them crawl back by mastering the quiet power of mystery. Number 4. Elevate through self-reinvention. What if the person they think they walked away from no longer exists? What if, in their absence, you've transformed into someone so extraordinary that they don't just miss you, they crave to know the new, untouchable version of you? What you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. These words from Zig Ziglar remind us that the path to self-reinvention is not about proving a point to others, but about becoming the most magnetic and powerful version of ourselves. Silent Domination, at its core, thrives on this principle. You don't need to chase when you've evolved into something worth chasing. Imagine a phoenix rising from the ashes, its vibrant, renewed form commanding awe and attention. That's the essence of self-reinvention. When someone pulls away, it's tempting to wallow in their absence or desperately seek their validation. But here's the truth. The most powerful response to being overlooked is to turn their absence into your opportunity. It's about becoming someone they not only regret leaving, but someone who seems almost unattainably elevated, a vision of growth, strength, and confidence. Reinvention doesn't mean pretending to be someone you're not. It means becoming the best, most fulfilled version of yourself. Maybe you've always wanted to start a business, learn an instrument, or improve your fitness. Now is the time to dive into those dreams, not to impress them, but to impress yourself. You cannot dream yourself into a character, you must hammer and forge yourself into one, said James Anthony Froude, perfectly capturing the essence of this transformative journey. Think of a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. During its time in the cocoon, it doesn't lament the loss of its previous form. Instead, it undergoes profound change in silence. When it emerges, the world takes notice, not because it sought attention, but because its evolution demands it. Your reinvention is your cocoon. Whether they notice immediately or later, your transformation will speak louder than any words could. It's not just about becoming desirable to them, it's about becoming undeniable to yourself. Every step of self-reinvention is a step toward reclaiming your power. If they took you for granted before, they won't even recognize the person you've become. Work on your physical health, not to fit anyone's ideal, but to feel strong and capable. Expand your knowledge or skill set, not to prove anything to them, but to enrich your own life. When you elevate yourself, you elevate your value, not just in their eyes, but in the eyes of the world. Confidence becomes a natural byproduct of this growth, and confidence, as we all know, is magnetic. Self-reinvention is not just about external changes. It's about the internal shifts that make you unshakable. Adopt the mindset of a Stoic. You control your growth, your reactions, and your value. When you master yourself, you become someone who doesn't need to chase, because your energy pulls others toward you. Think of the sun. It doesn't move toward the planets, yet its gravitational pull keeps everything in orbit. That's the power of elevating through reinvention. Your growth becomes a force they can't ignore. Imagine running into them unexpectedly after months of silence. Their jaw drops as they notice the new glow about you, the strength in your posture, the ease in your smile. It's not just your appearance that's changed. It's the way you carry yourself, the energy you exude. They'll feel the shift, and that realization will make them question everything. Who is this person? How did they grow so much without me? It's that moment of awe that turns regret into a burning need to reconnect. You're not just rebuilding yourself, you're redefining yourself. They may have walked away thinking they understood you, but your transformation will show them how little they actually knew. Self-reinvention isn't about playing games. It's about claiming your life as your own. It's about proving that your happiness and growth are not contingent on anyone else's presence or absence. That is the ultimate power, and it's incredibly attractive. So, embrace this moment as an opportunity to rise. The time you spend focusing inward, investing in yourself, and building the life you've always envisioned will not go unnoticed. Even if they don't crawl back, you'll have become someone who doesn't need anyone to complete them. You'll have become someone who is whole, magnetic, and unstoppable. And if they do come back, they'll be met with a version of you they could only dream of knowing. Remember, this isn't about revenge. It's about rebirth. Your growth is a beacon, and those who once took you for granted will find themselves irresistibly drawn to its light. Your power lies not in their attention, but in your transformation. I am evolving into someone they will regret losing, is your mantra. Write it in the comments as a declaration of your commitment to yourself. If this message resonates with you and you're ready to take your life to the next level, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're working hard to bring you life-changing lessons that empower you to reclaim your power and build the life you deserve. Let's grow together. Number 5. Leverage the power of indirect influence. Why shout when a whisper can move mountains? This is the essence of indirect influence, a strategy so subtle yet so potent that it can alter the dynamics of any relationship without you lifting a finger. When you master this art, you're not just in their thoughts. You're a presence they can't escape, a quiet echo in their mind that grows louder with time. Imagine a stone dropped into a still pond. The ripples spread outward, touching every corner without the stone ever moving again. That's the power of indirect influence. You don't have to reach out directly to remind them of your value. Instead, you let the ripples of your actions, your growth, and your magnetic energy speak for themselves. Whether it's a friend casually mentioning how great you've been doing, or the quiet confidence you exude in a shared space, these subtle signals work wonders. They begin to wonder, what's changed? Why does this feel different? Curiosity grows into longing, and longing becomes their reason to reach out. Think of the moon's pull on the tides. The moon doesn't crash into the ocean to create waves. It influences them from a distance, effortlessly shaping the flow. Similarly, you become the quiet force they feel but can't quite grasp. Maybe they see you thriving through a mutual connection, or notice your absence in places they expected you to be. These indirect nudges create a narrative in their mind, one where you are no longer a constant, but a treasure they might be losing. This isn't about manipulation. It's about reclaiming your value by showing them that you are thriving without their validation. You're not chasing, you're simply existing at your best. And as they notice your transformation, they'll start to realize the gravity of your absence. This shift turns the tables. They're no longer in control of the dynamic. You are. Remember this: your silence, paired with the quiet ripples of your growth, is louder than any words could ever be. Write this affirmation in the comments. I am the silent force they cannot ignore. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here to help you master life's lessons and regain your power, one step at a time. And number 6, embrace the decoy effect. Have you ever noticed how a crowded table at a restaurant draws more attention than an empty one? This is the power of perception, the idea that what appears desired becomes even more desirable. In the realm of relationships and influence, this principle is known as the decoy effect. It's about cultivating an image of independence, fulfillment, and desirability so potent that it makes others question their position in your life. As the saying goes, when you value yourself, the world has no choice but to do the same. Imagine a vibrant garden full of flourishing plants, each one unique and captivating in its way. Now imagine someone who left that garden returning to find it even more beautiful, with new blooms they hadn't noticed before. They'll wonder why they walked away in the first place. The decoy effect is your garden, the life you cultivate during your silence. By investing in yourself, pursuing new passions, and allowing others to witness your growth, you create a magnetic pull. It's not about manipulation. It's about showing them that your world is thriving, with or without them. This strategy works on a deeply psychological level. When you focus on your growth and happiness, you send an undeniable message. You're not waiting. Whether it's sharing glimpses of your exciting new hobby, a photo from a night out with friends, or a subtle nod to your achievements, you're demonstrating that your life is rich and fulfilling. This is the key to the decoy effect, creating the impression that your value has not only remained but increased in their absence. It stirs a mix of curiosity, admiration, and even regret, making them crave the connection they once overlooked. The decoy effect isn't about pretending, it's about becoming. When you grow into the best version of yourself, your transformation speaks louder than any words ever could. Remember, the strongest signal you can send to the world is that you're whole on your own. You hold the power to reshape how they see you and how you see yourself. Write this affirmation in the comments. I am thriving, and the world notices my worth. If this resonated with you, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your support fuels the creation of these life-changing lessons, helping us empower more people to reclaim their power and thrive. Number 7, cultivate emotional impenetrability. What if I told you that the ultimate form of strength isn't about fighting louder or harder, but standing calm and unmoved in the face of chaos? Imagine yourself as a mountain, unshaken by the storm swirling around you. The storm may rage, but it cannot move you. This is emotional impenetrability, mastering your inner world so completely that no external force can disrupt your peace. And it's a cornerstone of silent domination. As the philosopher Viktor Frankl once said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Emotional impenetrability isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about mastering them. It's about creating a fortress of calm within you, a place where others' actions or words lose their power to dictate your reactions. In relationships, this skill is invaluable. When someone pulls away, provokes you, or tests your boundaries, your unshaken response speaks volumes. It tells them you are untouchable, in control, and someone who doesn't crumble under pressure. Picture this: a stone resting at the bottom of a rushing river. The current may crash against it, attempting to sweep it away, but the stone remains rooted, its presence unyielding. That's you when you cultivate emotional impenetrability. The person who once held the power to unsettle you will find themselves disarmed, confused by your calm. They'll realize they can no longer manipulate your emotions or draw out a reaction, and that realization shifts the dynamic entirely. This principle doesn't mean you stop caring or become indifferent. It means you rise above impulsive reactions and choose thoughtful responses. Emotional impenetrability isn't about shutting down. It's about opening up to the realization that you are enough on your own. When you embody this mindset, you no longer chase validation or let someone's distance diminish your value. You stand firm, allowing your silence and composed presence to do the talking. Think of it as becoming a mirror. When they try to provoke you, all they see is their own reflection. They can't rattle you, and in the process, they begin to question their own actions. This isn't manipulation. It's the art of showing that your emotions are under your control, not theirs. And that kind of quiet confidence is magnetic. Here's the truth. People are drawn to strength, not desperation. They are fascinated by someone who seems to operate on their own terms, someone who doesn't flinch under pressure. When you practice emotional impenetrability, you become that person. Your silence becomes louder than their noise, your calmness more compelling than their chaos. They'll begin to wonder, why aren't you reacting? Have they lost their hold over you? Are they the ones who made a mistake? This shift is exactly what makes silent domination so powerful. You're not fighting for control. You're claiming it by refusing to give it away. And as they feel the absence of your emotional reactions, they'll start to crave the connection they once took for granted. Emotional impenetrability is the quiet declaration that you are untouchable, and that's a statement they can't ignore. Now, take a moment to internalize this truth. You are the architect of your emotions. No one has the power to shake you unless you grant it to them. The more you practice this inner strength, the more magnetic you become. People will be drawn to you, not because you demand their attention, but because they can't resist the calm, grounded energy you exude. So,